Within your Reviso agreement, you already have invoice layouts. However, should you wish to make any changes to these, then you can do by going into Sales, Invoicing, and Design and Layout. And this is what we call the template collection. So this shows the invoice templates collections that you currently have in your system. And it works in a way that you have a letterhead, and then you have your collection, whether it's an invoice, a credit note, purchase order, reminder, statement, etc., will then overlay on top of that letterhead, and that's how your invoice layout is produced. The first thing you need to do is to import your logo. Now you can do that when you're raising your sales invoice, or if you have several logos, as you might have various types of invoices, then you can go to Other Options and Image Archive, and here you can bring in any alternative or additional images you might want to use on your invoice layouts. Once you've imported, then you can go to your letterhead collections, and to the right hand side here you've got this option Layout, and that shows you the layout of the letterhead. So this section bar along here is pulling information in from your master information, so your company name, etc. So if your company name is incorporated in your logo or your image, then you won't necessarily need this showing. So you can click on this area here and it's element 2, or you can search it down here as element 2, company name, and edit it. If you click on this, it automatically brings it up, and it's saying placement, and at the moment it's saying all. That means it will appear on both pages. So you have the first page. So if you're running an invoice that rolls over to 2 pages, then the name of your company will appear on both pages. So if your company name is incorporated in your logo, then you can show none, and then it won't appear on either page, just your logo will appear. If you want to reinstate it, then simply edit it from here and select all, so it'll appear on both sheets, or if you're running an invoice that has 4 or 5 sheets, it will appear on all of those sheets. Please do not delete. Use the option to show on none rather than delete the element completely. Your logo will automatically appear here when you make the selection to add your logo. This section here is where your customer name and address details will appear when you're creating your invoice. So if you need this repositioned, you can click on the element and you can change the positioning from here. Alternatively, you can click on the element here, tick that box and select Move Selected, and you can then shift it along by millimeters or down by millimeters and then select Move, and it will then move it for you. You can then see the position it is. You can also show your letterhead here, and that will show you the positioning of your customer details. So if you need to change it again, you can do. The information down here is the master information, again from your company information. So this will be your company name, address, VAT details, company registration, etc. And it's all pulled in. If we go to Settings, All Settings, and Master Information, so this is where the information is coming from that appears in your invoice layout. Let's go back to Design and Layout and back to our letterheads. So if you need to make any changes, you can. These are already included in your Reviso agreement as a default invoice layout for you to use. If we now go back to our letterheads and back to our template collection, So once you've set up or made any changes to your letterhead, you can then go to the main template collection. To the right hand side here, you have an option called templates. So these are all the templates which lay over the letterhead. For instance, invoice. And if we go to the layout here for your invoice, you'll see first page and last page. So if your invoice does run more than one page, then this will be your first page and the totals will be on your last page. If you click on any of the areas here that are greyed, the information will come up to the top of your screen where you can make changes. So you can change the positioning and you can also change the text, and this is the dynamic fields you'll find. And the dynamic fields can be shown here in other options. So if you wanted to add additional dynamic fields in the information that you're pulling through into your invoice, you can make changes and copy these, highlight them and copy them into the various sections that you need. One area that is changed a lot is columns. So the columns section here, these appear along the center part of your invoice. We click on this. So these are the columns that appear on your invoice, and the description in brackets is what appears actually on your invoice. So it's pulling in the product number and it's showing it as item number. It's putting in the product name and it's showing that as item. If you wanted to change this, you can click here and you can change it. For instance, instead of item, you can change it to description and save. You can also change the way that, or the order that these columns are shown on your invoice. So if you wanted the description of the product before the item number, then you can click on here and you can move this from column or position to position 1 and move, and it will then give the description there. If you wanted to show certain columns, additional columns, then you can do by ticking the boxes here, but please remember you only have a certain amount of space, so you don't want it too congested. To go back to layouts, click here. Another area that is changed quite a lot, or can be changed quite a lot, is the payment terms. Again, the payment terms here pulls information from your master information and your bank account details. Now it may be that you have more than one bank account, so when you're invoicing maybe a European customer, you might want them to pay into your Euro account or your US dollar account. So it's pulling the dynamic information in, but you can remove this dynamic information, hard code your bank details into there, and it might be that you want more than one invoice layout. So you can copy your existing invoice layout and keep that with maybe your GBP bank account details, copy that one and then just come in and change this to a Euro bank account or US dollar bank account, and then you can apply that template to your European customers or your US dollar paying customers, and that way they'll have the correct bank account shown on their invoice. Should you require any further information on design and layout and how to configure or reconfigure your existing invoice template, then please contact us at help@reviso.com.